What's up, stars? It's your girl Ivory Star with this edition of Ratchet Astrology. Are y'all ready? Because I'm ready. So what we talking about? We are definitely going to talk about Mercury Retrograde. We are in post shadow. It is going direct. We're going to talk a little bit about Jupiter going direct. And we're definitely going to talk about full moon in Aries. And of course, we got Scorpio season coming up, okay? Scorpio season. Woo! Scorpios, the passion, the intensity, the mystery, okay? And we're gonna talk about the other zodiac signs as well, what house placements you are in, and some energy that might be going on with you as well. So let's go ahead and get right into it, okay? Talking about Mercury retrograde, okay? At least with Mercury and Jupiter going direct at the same time, it means rapid progress. So you might have felt slowed down during these retrogrades tremendously, but it was also you could do the internal work, working on your house, getting your system together, getting your routine together so you can get ready for the next phase, okay? We should be getting ready for the next phase. So rapid progress is what's coming with Mercury going direct along with Jupiter. So before I talk about Mercury retrograde, because we're going to dig into it a little bit, because this retrograde had people talking about astrology that I ain't never seen talk about astrology in my life, okay? Hood niggas talk about some, man, that retrograde, man, that shit crazy, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to get into it. We're going to dig into that retrograde, but let me talk about Jupiter going direct just a little bit. It's going direct in Aquarius. So Aquarius, I have not touched on this a whole lot. I am an Aquarius because a lot of the work is internal. So since, you know, the beginning or more like the end of 2020, Jupiter and Saturn have both been in Aquarius, and them are like heavy hitting type planets. That's why we are in the age of the Aquarius. Jupiter and Saturn are in Aquarius, and these are ages. These are periods that last for a long time. So just think technology, okay? Just think technology. That's it. And, you know, government changes because of Aquarius. That's the sign of humanitarianism and activism and the innovator, like the nerd that, you know, strikes a revolution. Like, not just in the house, not just in the school, not just in the books, but like activists, but really smart, really innovative, and really in tune with technology. So this is the age that we're moving in, are we not? The proof is there that, you know, things are changing and we are having access and being able to do things a lot differently. Governments are changing, the way we view money systems and things are changing. So, you know, all the rebellion that's going on. So, you know, we're in the edge of Aquarius, and that's where Saturn and Jupiter is right now. And Saturn went direct maybe a week, 2 weeks ago, and Jupiter is now going direct back into Aquarius. And where is Jupiter at in your chart? So that could tell you a lot about, you know, your success, your luck, your ways to obtain wealth. You know what I'm saying? Finding Jupiter in your chart and then going and seeing during that retrograde period, the Jupiter retrograde period, did you notice some changes in that area, okay? And what it is that you can learn from that. So, Jupiter going direct can bring some career changes. Maybe during Jupiter retrograde, you had a change of career goals. You had a change of lanes. Dreams turning into reality. Maybe during that Jupiter retrograde, you were able to find the keys to what really unlocks you, okay? Not just unlocks success, not unlocks money, not unlocks, you know, friends, not unlocks lovers, not unlocks any of those material things or things that we touch and attach ourselves to, okay? But what really unlocks you? What is really your soul's purpose and passion to be able to acquire the things that you do want, okay? Because a lot of people dream about being wealthy, and, you know, nobody really wants to be poor, except for rich people who've grown tired of being rich, right? Then they start embracing minimalist lifestyles because they just got their fill on it, because it's really just the root of greed, okay? It's greed. So make sure that you're trying to attain wealth for a purpose, whether it's to build generational wealth or, you know, just to make sure that you are taken care of in your older life. Are you setting goals that big? Because Jupiter is that big. It's expansive. Any sign that Jupiter inhabits, it expands and expounds on whatever it is that's already there within you. And that is where you start beginning to search yourself and figure out what it is that I want to do. So with this Jupiter going direct, hopefully, you know, you might have had an attitude change. Maybe something that bothered you before doesn't bother you now, because you realize allowing that situation to bother you is only going to get in the way of your success. So when you think in Jupiter going direct, what are the keys to my success, and what could be stopping me from that? So Jupiter is going direct, and you know, if you, hopefully you were able to, that's something that you were able to reflect on during this period of Jupiter retrograde. Go look at the dates. Look up Jupiter retrograde 2021. Look at the dates. And, you know, just kind of reflect and think on it. And that's why I always encourage people to journal, because you don't have to reflect and think on it, because doing this with you has allowed me to keep an astrology journal. So I can go back in this book when I wrote about Jupiter going retrograde, what date it was and what type of energy it was giving, okay? And see where I was at as well, and see if I learned anything about my career. I had a career, not necessarily a career change, but you know, one thing Aquariuses do have a habit of doing is picking up on things and not finishing before they move to the next thing else. So I am full of skills, but yet have I really took the time that I should to really invest into just one thing. So I did have a bit of a career change, but I've decided to put my energy into learning how to do something that I like, that will make me money at the same time, okay? Attitude changes. I definitely had an attitude change about a lot of things. A lot of things that were bothering me before aren't bothering me now, because they were never mine to be bothered with in the first place, okay? Whoever is for you is for you. You just keep doing you and they will find you, okay? Dreams into realities, career changes, attitude changes. And where is Jupiter at in your chart? Okay? Okay. So now, let's talk about Mercury. Mercury retrograde. We are now in post shadow, so don't get too comfortable. If you still might have some loose ends, everything gotta go. Scrubbing. Mercury retrograde is in Black Mama mode. I told you to clean this mother room, okay? This the third time. It started in Aquarius, okay? It was a retrograde in Aquarius, and that was your time to change your thinking about how you view a lot of your friendships, and how, you know, what it is that you want out of your friendships, you know, letting go of friendships that really don't serve you. Gemini, same thing, about being able to connect with others and how we connect with others, because these retrogrades, it's, you know, there's a lot of other things that go on. You know, it's a lot of other things that go on because it's Mercury energy, you know, the technology, blackouts, social media blackouts, which was probably needed anyway, you know, for a reason. Okay, travel delays. You don't know what the delay. I believe, honestly, with Mercury retrograde, when we talk about like travel delays and technology, I believe it still happened for a reason. I don't just believe that Mercury energy is just making the internet or making things or act up. I believe that's because there needs to be some type of delay for a certain type of people at that point in time. You know what I'm saying? I just really don't feel like nothing happens for no reason. But with this Mercury retrograde, it was very intense. It was extremely intense because of Mars energy. Mars energy shows up, and it just shows up for force. You know, Mars is the ruler of Aries, the god of, what is Aries? The god of war, okay? So, just so you know. But it doesn't always just mean, fight, aggression, da 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 da. it can also, mean strategy, planning. Okay, it's not all about aggression and war with Aries. It's about strategy and planning too, being able to think quickly. Okay, quickly. So with Mars being in Libra right now, it might be an issue because Libras are known to balance it out, weigh it out. You can't rush them, but Mars is all rush and all quickly. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? So, energies was real intense for this retrograde. You might have had some altercations, some verbal altercations, some things that needed to come up and be said, some shit that came out in the wash, okay? And, just kind of pinpoint it, learn from it, forgive yourself for it, and move on, okay? Whatever came up during this retrograde, like even with the, I hear the jokes about like exes and stuff popping up. If so, deal with it, okay? Deal with it. Get whatever it is that you need to do to deal with that. Let that go. Quit leaving the door open. Like if your ex is texting you and you don't want them to text you, don't just ignore them. They still take that as a sign that that's an open door. Tell them to stop texting you. You need to stand on what it is that you want. Get what you want. Get what you want, but you have to say it. You got to say it first. Nobody can read your mind. Oh, if you just ignore them, then they're going to go away. No, because then when they need somewhere to draw energy from, they're going to text you. And whether you responded or not, they still were able to draw energy from that because in their mind, they were able to process that, oh, well, she didn't say she stopped. He didn't say stop. He didn't say stop. She didn't say stop. Well, it's time for you to say stop. So during this retrograde, I hope you was able to stop that. If not, take this post-shadow period, do it again, because all you're going to do is delay the process. And when Mercury retrograde comes back, you're going to have to deal with it again. It's going to be worse because you've let it fester, okay? Don't let that fester. Take care of it. Take care of your business, okay? So rapid progress. That is one thing we can look forward to. If you were able to take the time that you were slow down, really work, plan, and strategize, and look at some things, then guess what? They about to take off. That's a good thing. And this full moon energy in Aries that we are going to be generating from is going to help push it even further, okay? So it's a good thing. So I hope everybody was able to work through their issues, cut them people off that needed to go, let go of stuff that needed to be, thrown away, throw it in the trash, okay? It's old news. Quit trying to, breathe life into that's dead. It's dead. It's dead. Dead it and let it be dead. Y'all go back and y'all just got to do a little bit more CPR. And then you wonder, after you went back and got with these people or got with that person, some tragic shit happened to your ass that you got to pay for. Because you're going to pay for it because the powers that be told you, whether it be God, your ancestors, your divine destiny through the universe, whatever, something told you not to go back. Somebody sent a message for you not to go back, and you went back anyway, and now you salty, okay? So, cut it off, or it's coming back, and it's going to be worse. Now, let's talk about full moon in Aries, okay? Full moon in Aries, the power of gratitude. First and foremost, the power of gratitude and ready for action, okay? It's not all aggression. It's not all whoop everybody ass with Aries all the time, okay? They can't get like that, but it's not like that all the time. There is some planning. There is some strategy there. They are hard workers and, they are skilled people and they're good leaders, okay? It's the cardinal sign. Technically the first sign of the Zodiac because, and I only say technically because I know most of us go by, the calendar year. All of us do not go by the Zodiac calendar, where Aries would be first, okay? Because of the spring. Aries, they come with the spring. So you always think breath of fresh air or a fresh start, fresh anything, okay? So with this full moon and Aries energy, we want to stay clear and we want to vibe high. Stay out of the way, honey, and just vibe high. Try not to one thing that comes with Aries energy, this me versus everybody attitude, okay? Sometimes Aries, with all that planning and strategizing and being in their head and constantly being in leadership mode and constantly being on their P's and Q's and constantly being on their toes and constantly being on a pivot, constantly head on a swivel, constantly got beef or shit going on, you know what I'm saying? They can get to a level of paranoia where they go me versus everybody, including the people around them, and they might accidentally hurt the people that's around them. And that happens sometimes. And, you know, that's just a part of the human experience anyway. That's why it's very safe for you to try to live with no attachment. I'm not saying like be a cold ass robot throughout your life and, you know, don't really make bonds or anything like that. It's okay to bond with people, but you need to understand that people are still people, so you have to prepare yourself when people start peopling, okay? So try to live with no attachment, that if something were to happen or if something was to cause discord in this relationship, that I would be able to heal and deal with it, and I wouldn't, you know, turn into a codependent. No, don't leave me. Don't do that. Don't do that, okay? Don't do that, because, you know, whoever for you. And that's friends, jobs, lovers, kids. Whoever's for you is for you, okay? So with this full moon in Aries, men, because, you know, Aries is the masculine ruler. You're probably going to shed some skin. And, you know, I'm a lady, so I appeal more to the ladies. But honestly, with this placement, this full moon in Aries, men, it is some time to shed some skin and get into some self-discovery, you know, because we have to practice telling men to take self-care too, okay? Men should be doing self-care too. We all should be doing some level of self-care. Look at your body as a vessel that keeps regenerating itself, but the only way to regenerate itself is to put things in because of everything that you have to put out. All the energy that you have to put out working, all the energy that you have to put out parenting, all the energy that we put out adulting, all of that energy, we have to find ways to put that back in. And one of those ways to do that is through self-care. Self-care should be a 24/7 thing. You should always consciously be aware of your body and be aware of your moods, okay? But, you know, for those of us who like work and go and we're still trying to find that balance where we can constantly be practicing self-care and constantly be in that mode of, you know, is this hurtful to me? Is this helping me? You know what I'm saying? You take the time to do it then. Take the time to, you know, get some self-care in. So for the men, this is a period of self-discovery. Who am I? Who am I? You know, because the full moon comes and exposes things, right? It exposes things so we can release them, correct? So when we have this full moon in Aries and it's the ruler of this masculine energy, men are going to be asking themselves the question, who am I? And with that question, if you haven't asked yourself that question at no point in your life, maybe now is the time to ask yourself that question and kick in this path to self-discovery, okay? And the wild ride of self-awareness. Because, you know, we blocked out, a lot of us, I blocked out things and I cannot remember. And it's not just because I've forgotten them, it's because I literally blocked them out after they happened. And I can see the mental block when I try to remember. Like, I know something happened, but I blocked out all details and I can't feel, I'm not attached to it anymore. And it's just a trauma response, okay? But we don't get a chance to talk to men and talk to them about going through their trauma responses of things that they have blocked out or why they respond the way they respond to certain things. So under this full moon, this is my plea to men to ask yourself the question, who am I? Who am I? And, you know, get deeper into your own self-discovery. Aries have a habit of reflecting back. They always like to, because like I said, they like to plan, they like to strategize. So because the full moon fully exposes so we can release, we are bound to have things come up that need to be thrown the fuck away. That's what I wrote, okay? I wrote thrown the fuck away. Like, throw it the fuck away. Like, because I realize sometimes us as kids of children of the Lord, just like our children sometimes don't only understand when we get loud and cuss. most of y'all don't understand until somebody get loud and cuss at y'all. And let that shit go. Like, why do you keep pushing that shit to the side? Like, that's not the one thing that needs to let go. Like, y'all literally going through these phases of, these moon phases of letting something that you don't really care about letting go. Letting go everything except for that one thing that you need to let go. That is standing in the way of you doing everything that you tell everybody that you want to do, that you tell yourself, you told your family, you done told your friends, you done told your Facebook groups, you done told your Instagram, you done told Snapchat. All these people around you know exactly what it is that you want to do. And a lot of them know exactly what that one thing is standing in your way, but they too scared to say something to you because they know you don't want to let it go yet. They know you're not ready to let it go, so that's why they're not saying nothing to you. Because they just don't even want the drama. Because you're still in denial. This is a full moon. Let it go. It's an Aries full moon. Let it go. You have the power. You have the energy. Okay? So, that's the beauty of these transits too. How they kind of work together. So Mercury retrograde ending and full moon and Aries coming, you know, they kind of work together. That's the beauty of watching these transits and why I like astrology, because these are, if you can look up what's going on at NASA, okay, that these are what the planets are giving. But there were other people, just like you believe in the people who wrote the Bible and the people who write all these spiritual books, there were people who followed the behaviors and the patterns of watching people and watching these planet placements at the same time. Like, okay, so you know, that's the beauty of these transits kind of working together. Mercury retrograde kicked all kinds of dirt up so we can bury some things once and for all. So up under this full moon, all that dirt and all that shit that came up with Mercury retrograde that you just need to go ahead and bury. Use that same dirt that try to get kicked up there and people trying to drag you through the dirt. Let's not just talk about the stuff that comes up in our personal life. Let's talk about the people on the outside who are getting smart with you, who are treating you some type of way, who are trying to drag your name through the dirt. You take all that dirt and you bury some things with it. Bury that shit in the ground, okay? Aries rules over the first house as the cardinal fire sign. So this is where we find ourselves working with the inner child as well. Okay. So it feels like this is a repetitive thing because that's where the answers are. Okay. Inner child. The inner child is very much exposed with full moon in Aries. And this is a great time to remember where it all started. Where it all started. Where did you realize that you wanted, when you woke up as, you know, when you woke up when you was a child and talked about all the cool things you were going to be and all the awesome person you were going to be before the world showed us that it ain't all that, and people ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Before you learn that people ain't shit. Under this full moon is where we let go of what might have stopped you, okay? So this is really a good time to do some inner child work, and I do have a few questions that you can activate your inner child work with, okay? This is going to be a first thought process because we are relearning ourselves. So I don't want y'all to go through whatever, when you ask yourself the question, I want you to use the first thought because I don't want you to go through phases. Start with the first, and then you go through phases. So start with the first time that they ask you in kindergarten, what did you want to grow up when you be? And they might have asked you later on in your life. Say that for the next phase, okay? Start with your first thought when you ask yourself these questions. So I got two rituals for you because full moon is a great time to do not just, you know, this inner child activity, but, you know, for releasing. That's what it's really for. We're doing all this so we can release and we can let it go and we don't have to carry it anymore. It's time to drop it off. It's time to drop that baggage off. And, you know, we don't need to carry it around no anymore. So these are the 5 questions that you can, you know, do some inner child work with to help, you know, hopefully trigger something in you, maybe unlock something so you can either decide if it's something that you want to keep or if it's something that you just need to go ahead and let go. So what would I daydream about? When you were a child, what is it that you used to daydream about? Okay? What I wanted to be when I grow up. Think about the first time somebody asked you that question and what it is that you said you wanted to be. Favorite childhood activity. Okay? What did you like to do a lot when you were a child? Your favorite school subject. Things you like to do with your friends. And this is a big one if you feel like you've been having conflicts with, your peer group, or you've been having a hard time fitting into a peer group. That will be a big one to ask. So, I'll go ahead and answer mine with y'all, what I'm saying, tap into who I am, y'all favorite back alley astrologer, you feel me? So, what would I dream about when I was a child? I actually had my own world. I had my own realm when I was a child. It was pretty dark because I was like emo a little bit, okay? I was emo and I was music. That's always been me. I liked the Addams Family. Like, even now, I watch serial killer shit. I watch The Blacklist. I watch SVU. I'm caught up on that even from back in the day, okay? I've seen SVU old episodes probably 3 or 4 times, and I'm caught up on the new shit. I'm so in love with SVU. That's my type of shit. So even in my daydream world when I was a child, it was kind of dark because one of my favorite movies when I was a kid was Cool World. I don't know. I don't know. But so my world kind of resembled that. I was like fighting crime and it was like seedy, dark shit going on. Or I had my one underworld type shit going on. So that's the type of stuff I used to daydream as a child. That was my realm. I had these dark worlds going on. What I wanted to be when I grew up, a comedian and a psychologist. I wanted to be a psychologist and I wanted to tell jokes about my patients. Favorite childhood activity. It's between probably coloring and writing and coloring, making up my own stories and coloring for sure. And my favorite school subject has always been social studies. I love learning about other places and other cultures. I really want to travel eventually. It's on my bucket list. I got a few places. I'm not a big flyer. Like, I'm just not a person who can sit still. I might have some undiagnosed ADHD or something. I don't know. But I just, but I do have some places that I do want to take the time to travel to and go see. And things you like to do with your friends. I've always had a small friend group. And most of the time, it's just things I like to do with my friends. We used to go on little adventures, little walks, make mud pies, climb trees. I like to be in nature with my friends. I like to kick it with my friends in nature. So those are my inner child questions. So now that I've given you my answers, I want you to go and look at your answers and see if your life line up with it now. Mine kind of does. Like, I kind of, I might be a Facebook comedian and I might be helping y'all through astrology videos or something, but I'm still in line with what I'm supposed to be doing with my inner child, right? But I had to come to that conclusion by doing this work previously before, like constantly doing this work and constantly asking myself certain questions that pertain to my childhood and making sure I'm going through different phases from when I was a young child, when I was a teenager, how it was, you know what I'm saying? Because I blocked out a lot of things from, my preteen, teenager, childhood. So that's something I have to deal with a lot of times too. So as far as releasing, once you do the inner child work, or if you already know what you want to release, I already know what I want to release. I'm going to burn something. Aries is a fire sign, okay? So do some fire magic, do some fire ritual, do some fire releasing. Candle magic, burning shit on paper, writing shit down and burning it on paper. Do you know how it does not always have to be this whole intricate hoodoo going on, okay? You can write that shit down on a certain type of piece of paper or a bay leaf or whatever and burn that shit. Burn it. Burn shit that you don't burn it. Burn it down. Write whatever it is that you want to release on the candle before you burn the candle. You know what I'm saying? And black, I use black candles for, you know, getting rid of things or, you know, banishing things or releasing things. Okay, I use a black candle and I write the things that I, you know, I carve in the candle, the things that I want to let go, and then let it burn, baby. Let it burn, and I watch that shit disappear. Okay? Okay? So, that is what I have for the full moon. And now let's talk about it's Scorpio season. Scorpio season. It's all dark and mysterious and sexy and passionate and intense and crazy a little bit. Okay? Just like Scorpios. So, Scorpio, we're going to start with you because, and you know what? Let's do some cards. I'm going to pull some cards. Where my cards at? Where my cards? I didn't really. We got some cards. Let's see. We're going to pull some cards too. And we started with you, Scorpio, because it's your season. Are you ready? Are you ready to go, Scorpio? Ready to go right now. So, Scorpio, it looks like you are hanging out in the 5th house of romance and creativity. You ready to spice it up, Scorpio? Scorpios got that spice. They got some seasoning. All the Scorpios, I know they dress different, but they dress different, but they dress well. They find like nice little ensembles and stuff to put together. They always got the smell goods around them. I don't know one stinky Scorpio. Heavy on the accessories, of course. Heavy on the details, of course. And they're a water sign. They're super intuitive. And they're good friends to have around. And they got your back. Loyal people, too. Scorpios. But y'all in the 5th house of romance and creativity. So let's pull some cards. See what that's about. All right, so Scorpio in the 5th house. Romance, creativity. Ooh, and look for So don't this represent Scorpio in astrology? Okay, like I said, it's your time. Okay, confirming that it is your time and time for transformation. Release what doesn't serve you, Scorpio. Scorpio. The Death card. Y'all get so scared. And you know, I was scared too. I ain't even gonna lie. When I realized when I looked through and seen what tarot cards were and the card, I was very scared of the devil and I was very scared of death. You know why? Because I had been conditioned to be. Okay. It's not always a bad thing. You should be looking at both as transitioning and you should be looking at the devil card as some form of temptation. Okay. 2 things that are in this world that are going to constantly be around you, that are going to constantly make you uncomfortable. Temptation comes to make you uncomfortable so you can gauge yourself and see where you really at with some things. Death comes because transition has to happen, okay? We all cannot be in this realm forever. So some things need to change, okay? So next, we got Sagittarius hanging out in the 6th house of health and charity, okay? And Venus right now is hanging out in Sagittarius, so y'all getting a new look on love. Look at that. Look at that. Venus is in Sagittarius right now, and Sagittarius is currently hanging out in the house of health and charity. So, is this relationship that you are currently in healthy for you? If not, Sagittarius, this is the perfect time to talk about it, okay? Capricorn. And look what we pulled, the Knight of Pentacles. And we know that Capricorn is an earth sign. Pentacles, resources, material things. And Capricorn is currently hanging out in the 7th house of, you know, partnerships, relationships, okay? Pluto went direct in Capricorn, and you know that was a lot about taking your power back. So no cutting corners, being steady and trustworthy, financial breakthrough, Capricorn. And it may have something to do with the partnerships or the relationships that you have going on right now. So look into that. Okay. Aquarius. I was talking about you a little bit earlier. Because Saturn and Jupiter are finally direct in your sign, which they have been there since the end of last year. And that's some major changes for Aquarius that is really about you stepping into your truest calling, your truest self, because it's the age of the Aquarius. So this is your time to embrace every weird part of yourself, every skill that you have acquired over this time, Aquarius, every skill that you want to learn, the path that you're on. This is your time to get to it. You have the teacher and you got the big boy, Jupiter, in your sign right now, and they went direct and they went retrograde. But right now you are in the house of bonds. And the difference between the 7th house and the 8th house, because I know the 7th house is relationships, partnerships, but the difference between bonds is a little bit different. It's things that you mutually share, okay? Things that you mutually share, sex partners, whatever. You know what I'm saying? The house of where you bond at. Intimacy, not just being in a partnership or relationship, but where you come together at, okay? And the card is the 5 of Pentacles. Discipline in your finances. It's hard, ain't it, Aquarius? Because one thing about Aquarius, you can get some money, but how well do you take care of it? Okay? So, temporary hardship, but opportunity awaits. So while you learning how to balance your budget, Aquarius, it's going to be hard to be without some of the luxuries that you like, okay? But there's opportunity waiting on the other side, okay? So financial literacy, Aquarius. You have the great teacher Saturn in your sign. You have Jupiter, the planet of wealth and luck, in your sign. So take advantage of that energy. Save your coins. Save your coins. And, be mindful of the bonds that you have in this time. Take a look at what you have connected yourself to in this time. All right. Pisces. 10 of Cups. 10 of Cups, and Neptune is currently hanging out in Pisces, okay? And Pisces is currently hanging out in the 9th house, the house of higher learning. So, Neptune being the planet of dreams and the subconscious and mystery, and Pisces being the sign of all those mysterious dreams and subconscious and other worlds and other realms, okay, and higher learning, you probably have this desire just to know more. Pisces just are in a place where they are hungry for knowledge. And I pulled the 10 of Cups for you. Love and happiness. Love and happiness. Pisces on the path to love and happiness through your higher learning. Okay? You're in the 9th house right now. Take advantage. Aries. Aries is currently hanging out in the 10th house of success. Okay? And for Aries, we pull the 3 of Pentacles, baby. The success card, being recognized for your success, the hard work that you put in, being recognized for it. It's beginning to show, and you are going to get the recognition you deserve. And you are hanging out in the 10th house of success anyway, so wait on it. Wait on it. Taurus. Taurus is currently hanging out in the 11th house of socials. And I call it the house of socials because that's pretty much where our peer groups are, groups that we are a part of, societies and things that we pledge our allegiance to. You find those things in the 11th house. And the 11th house is ruled by Aquarius. And Aquarius is used by that unpredictable planet of Uranus. And Uranus is currently in Taurus. Okay? So Taurus, you're going through some changes. You are thinking about social change and how you can help the environment and things like that. Taurus is looking at the world on a much broader scale right now, to what they can do, what type of resources they can use that are naturally there, because, you know, earth signs are naturally in tune with nature and the outdoors and, you know, just the earth, period. They're earth signs. With Uranus being in Taurus and Taurus currently being in the 11th house of socials, they are thinking about the changes that they can innovate or make. So this card that I pulled for you, strength, because you're going to need it. You're going to need it, right? Shining compassion and strength. A gifted healer. Do you know the power that you have to be able to find something in the world, a resource that is already of the earth, and take it to try to help people on a collective and whole? You are this. You are a gifted healer. If you can take a resource that is in the earth, whether it's dirt, water, whatever, energy, sun sources, and you can take it and you can turn it into something innovative that can create a change in the world. That's what this energy is giving, that you are ready and able to do. But this is you, shining compassion and strength. That is the attribute that you have to even want to do that. Okay, people are so desensitized; they don't care about what's going on in the world. They don't care about global warming. They don't care about jacked up water. They don't care about, you know, people being raped and instead of calling the police, recording it on their phones. So Taurus is ready to take the resources of the earth and make a change. And that's why they're hanging out. And while you're hanging out in the house of social, Taurus, this is a time for you to go ahead and rally the troops. All right. And Gemini is hanging out in the 12th house, and I call it the house of graves. Okay, the house of graves, because that is where we go to let go, and that's where we bury things. Okay, it's the house of graves, and it does not have to be ominous, because letting go is not a bad thing. We have to let things go and let things die sometimes so new things can live, correct? So that is where Gemini is at, and I pulled the King of Wands for you. And when I think King of Wands, I always think about, you know, self-made. That's the self-made card. You know, maybe it's time for you to bury some things so you can start doing something for you, for yourself. Become an entrepreneur. Maybe start the business. This is all about starting things. Because, and then on top of that, being in the 12th house where we let things go, and then being ready to start something else. Okay, so that's where Gemini is. Wherever it is, just go ahead, let it go, let it die, bury it, whatever, and move on. All right. Cancer, you are hanging out in the first house of the house of self. So you are making some changes, I'm sure. Or not. You might be okay with where you are right now. It's not always time for change for everybody. You know, some people you reach a level where you're okay where you are. You're comfortable and you're working on something else for the next level. So, but this is where we reflect on all those things in the self, in the house of self, the first house. And this is also where we do our inner child work too. So Cancer, I'll pull the Four of Cups for you. So for the Four of Cups, I always think about disconnection and probably the need to meditate, okay? Becoming disconnected or bored, or, you know, missing opportunities because you're so focused on getting this one thing. So it might be time for Cancer to go ahead and reevaluate those goals. What do you really want? Why do you feel disconnected? Why are you bored with life right now? What do you really want? What's going to spice it up for you? It's Scorpio season. Spice it up. This is the perfect time to get spooky, sexy, whatever you need to do to tap into another part of yourself, okay? Don't miss no more opportunities or give opportunities away because it's not what you wanted, okay? Leo, this has been a big thing for you. You are currently hanging out in the house of money, which is the second house, and, you know, wealth and building and, you know, getting control of your finances has been a big theme for Leo over the past at least half a year, okay? Because we already in November, I would say, since before after, you know, around the time of, you know, Leo season, it became an even bigger thing because the first part was pretty much self-care. And now we're leading up into, okay, now that we've done our self-care, how are we going to get this money? Okay. So Leo, hanging out in the second house of money, I pulled the Magician card for you. All right. I pulled the Magician card for you. Willpower, confidence, and you got all the tools. Baby, Leo, you got all the skills to pay the bills, okay? You got this. Virgo. Virgo is hanging out in the third house of communication. And not just communication, the way you talk, but who you talk to. Your peer groups, your neighbors, your siblings, your co-workers, that type of thing, okay? The third house of communication, Virgo. And what type of communication goes on with the Five of Wands? Some arguments. Some power struggles. And also, I wrote this little note down here. Holding the idea. So if you're already having some issues with some communicating to people what it is that you want, what you need to do, and you're having some power struggles about where you're at, maybe this next idea that you have, maybe you should hold on to it until whatever this conflict that you have going on right here, Virgo, gets resolved. Okay? Libra. Libra, and like I said, Mars is currently hanging out in Libra, and it might be making you a little bit uncomfortable, Libra, because you're not used to nobody rushing you. But the universe is rushing you right now. Yes, it is, Libra. Mars and Mercury, okay? Remember the Mercury Retrograde happened in Libra too. So Libra, you had a lot of energy going on. But you are currently in the fourth house, the house of home. Home and where we love our mommy, okay? You are in the house of home. Eight of Cups. And what's the Eight of Cups? And look what's on the Eight of Cups, a full moon. Boop, boop, boop. Libra. Difficulty walking away. A new path. Things that are not serving you. So Libra. Mars is pushing you to do something, obviously. And Mercury just came through and wrecked up and brought up all this communication. So, you know, it's not surprising, Libra, if you are going through some breakups, some conflicts at home, okay? Because, you know, Mercury going direct, some of that is going to lift for you, but that Mars and Libra is going to push you to kind of make a decision, okay? Whatever the conflict is, you need to go ahead and make a decision and stand on it because, you know, it's affecting your home life right now. So this placement is not, don't be surprised if you are getting into it with your loved ones or you got a breakup going on or anything like that, Libra, okay? Okay. And that's what I have for you. We got through that thing, didn't we? So, well, y'all didn't drop no questions for me in the question box. So, I really don't have nothing to say there. I hope everybody is feeling a little bit more lifted, okay? Now that Mercury retrograde is going into post-shadow phase, but don't get it twisted, okay? If you haven't tied up all loose ends, then you might still have some residuals coming your way, okay? Full moon in Aries, make sure that you, if you have not done any child work, to go ahead and do some. Do your burning ritual, let something go so you can be lifted, so you can be celebrating and free, because full moon is also a time of release, but it's also a time for gratefulness and, you know, reaping your harvest and collecting those gems that you buried in the dirt. And new moon, those manifestations and those intentions and things that you set, seeing the results from them from the new moon, okay? So that's all I have for y'all this week. And I will see y'all at the next new moon. And one more thing. I want to start adding people. I don't know if I'm looking for a co-host. It's something that I wrote down, either, you know, a co-host or a special guest. So y'all just let me know. Y'all talk to me. Let me know, because after the 1 year anniversary of Ratchet Astrology, which is 1 month away, we just gonna make a few changes, okay? And I might just add another person to this broadcast. I don't mind. I don't mind sharing. I love to share information. I love when y'all send me questions in the question box, give me stuff to research. I love when y'all send me stuff, show me things that I might not have known, okay? I don't got all the answers. I just sit down and I research and I write my notes. I get my books out. I get on the internet. I do whatever I need to do to, you know, get the information down in that little yellow notebook and get it out to y'all. But I thank y'all for hanging out with me today. And that concludes this episode of Ratchet Astrology. Make sure that you follow me on social media. Make sure that you are subscribed to here and like, comment, share, whatever. Let's get a conversation popping. And Scorpios, don't forget to drop your birthdays in the comments, because I'm giving out little gifts. That's one thing I want to start doing. So, y'all enjoy this week, and, you know, journal, meditate, pray, and be blessed.